Let's head to the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
I think the priority should be to wait it out and sign Cousins after he's released from the Falcons. I would not trade for anyone. I would either sign Flacco or Cousins. And then, in the middle, second, third round range in the draft, go after Riley Leonard is a much better prospect, and he can be developed under the tutelage of Flacco or Cousins. And then let's go ahead and get the best player available in the first part of the draft. Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, someone who's an impact player. But let's quit wasting our time with Milroe, Jackson Dart, Shedeur, and Cam Ward. Those guys are not going to be worth it. And don't trade your picks to try and get some veteran quarterback. That's going to be a bust. Let's not make the same mistakes over and over again. All right, that's my 10 cents worth. Thank you.
As always, appreciate all of the voicemails. Let's welcome in Garrett Bush, Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, the barbershop as well. And G. Bush, we had a beat reporter on from Atlanta, covered the Falcons, who said he didn't think that Cousins would be on the roster with the Falcons when the league year hit. So it'll be interesting. I'm not opposed to Cousins. He also thought they didn't play to Cousins' strengths even a little bit. Said he was great first half of the year, second half of the year he fatigued was his take.
Well, look, I've said this all along, and this is my stance, and we're going to put it out there. Cleveland Browns need a whole new quarterback room. And how they go about putting this quarterback room together is going to be squarely on the shoulders of Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry, and they better not mess it up. If they want to come to me and say that Kirk Cousins is a guy that is going to be a nice little bridge quarterback and a quarterback that can really help some of the young guys and still give you an opportunity to win some games and be a competent quarterback, by all means, go about doing it. Figure it out. I think the money may make sense if the Falcons are going to pretty much pay for him to go away. But you need multiple quarterbacks in this draft. And for me, I approach it like this. I need a veteran at some point, whether that's I don't know if it's Jameis Winston. I don't know if it's Flacco. I don't know if it's Kirk Cousins. Whoever that veteran guy is, you need one of those. 2, you probably need a quarterback within the first 2 rounds. I'm not playing around with nobody in the 4th round or the 3rd round. You need one of those guys high. And I'm going to tell you this. I draft 2 quarterbacks in this draft. I'd learned from what the Washington Commanders did back in the day when they did draft Kirk Cousins. Ironically, we were talking about him. They took RG3 and paid a boatload of picks to take RG3. And then they used a 4th round pick on a Michigan State quarterback named Kirk Cousins. And you know what? People said, why would you do that? Why would they draft? They could have drafted some guys to get RG3 some weapons. And you know what they did? They hedged their bet. That's what bad organizations have to do. You have to hedge your bet. We have not been doing good in putting all our eggs in one basket. And one of the reasons, and I caution people to say this, and you may not think that Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward is worth the pick, but let me tell you something. They are not in Jalen Milroe's category. Let's just be clear. Those guys are night and day when it comes to passing the football. I think sometimes we just clump guys together because they're names that we talk about. No, when Jalen Milroe is not a guy who is as competent and is ready to throw the football at a high level than those 2 guys. Jackson Dart is a guy I think is still behind those 2 dudes. I would have him as my 3rd quarterback. Followed by some of the guys that you may listen to. There's a Curtis Rourke. There's Quinn Ewers will come in somewhere in that area. But for me, what I've learned in as much as I would like to have Travis Hunter because I think he's a generational player, I love Abdul Carter. I've watched extensive film on both of those. But the one thing that I get is this: if you ain't got no quarterback and you plan on trying to do something in the AFC. You're in trouble. I don't care if you got Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter. You got to find a quarterback. And if I'm the Browns, I'm doubling down on 2 of them.